back to my channel. It's Hillary Jubilee. Here on my channel, I talk about manifestation, conscious creation, and the law of assumption. If you're into those topics, please click the like button down below and subscribe, and let's get right into the video. So today's video is on a topic that seems to have blown up in the Instagram manifestation community. And that topic is the debate on whether affirmations work or not. And yeah, the idea that affirmations don't work. So before I get too deep into it, I just want to tell a really heartwarming story about my uncle, which is related to the subject. So a piece of my Uncle Ben's writing and his backstory is currently being displayed in a local bookstore. So I'll read his story here. Ben was on top of the world with a happening music career and a good job building decks. Then carpal tunnel syndrome set in, and he had to give it all up. With no band and no job, Ben developed depression and was eventually diagnosed as bipolar. Ben says it's a real shame that once someone has been sad, they are labeled as though they can never recover from sadness. But today, Ben is doing well, studying at university to upgrade for a career he can do despite his carpal tunnel, and enjoying student interactions via Zoom breakout rooms. So he says, while I was severely depressed with the desire to heal my sadness, my grandma wrote on a sheet of paper these words below. It worked. My sadness was healed. So I'll read. So this is my great grandma and my Uncle Ben's grandma. Before she passed away, she wrote this list of affirmations on a piece of paper for my Uncle Ben. I'll read her words and I'll put them up on the screen. Think positively. Relax, relax, relax. Make peace with imperfection. You're too blessed to be stressed. Don't be your own worst critic. Exercise the positive word no. Tame your tension. I'm in control. Nothing can ruin my day. No one can steal your joy. I'm not stressed. Calm love is the key to a happy life. Count to 10. Breathe before you speak. Quiet the mind. So here's Ben's writing. I am so happy and grateful that my family is so supportive and I have a cozy place to live. I am grateful that I wrote the following on my website. I am grateful. I am aware of the eternal present. I totally accept what is. I am kind, forgiving, and respectful to all beings. I always feel love for myself. I am responsible and sincere. I am a healthy, functional human being. I am comfortable with myself. I am thankful for my environment, possessions, and skills. I act virtuously. I exude patience. I appreciate my family, friends, and home. So my grandma had sent me this email with the photo of my Uncle Ben, which I'll show, of him standing next to the bookstore window with his writing. Would you like to go out again? Or do you just want to wreak havoc? So I asked my Uncle Ben what he did exactly with the words that my great grandma wrote for him. And he told me that he said the words out loud until he memorized them, and he would say them again anytime he felt down. And then he wrote his life avertment, which I read the piece of his writing, which is just part of it. And the rest I'll link below. It's on his website, so I'll link the direct link to the rest of it below. He said then he wrote his life avertment, and he would say that every morning, which does include my grandma's words as well. So my Uncle Ben cured himself of depression using affirmations. So I thought this was a really powerful story that came to me at just the right time. My grandma sent me this email with the photo of him next to his writing, like this, either the same day or the day after I discovered the topic going around the manifestation community on Instagram about how affirmations don't work. And this story probably sets the tone about my opinion on whether or not affirmations work. So the law of assumption states that whatever you believe to be true, you will see evidence of in your reality. So it's just kind of ironic because the phrase affirmations don't work is an assumption, or you could even say it's an affirmation. So if you are declaring that affirmations don't work, you will see evidence of that in your reality. It's similar to somebody who is against manifestation or conscious creation, and they say manifestation is pseudoscience. They will see evidence of that in their reality. Whatever you choose to believe in your reality, whether you believe in the law of assumption or not, it's always working. So anything on any topic, whatever you believe to be true, you'll see evidence of that in your 3D, such as the law of assumption. It's just the law at work. It's always at work. So let's break it down. I think it does actually depend on what your definition of an affirmation is. And the dictionary definition didn't really seem to align with the manifestation term, but I'll read the Jack Canfield website definition. Simple, positive statements declaring specific goals in their completed states. Although they sound rather basic at that level, these empowering mantras have profound effects on the conscious and unconscious mind. I don't limit an affirmation to repeating a phrase incessantly thousands of times. I don't limit it to that meaning. To me, I think of affirmations as your words or your thoughts. And I do get the idea that if you're using an affirmation as a band-aid to cover up something or to suppress emotions, that could be unhealthy and toxic. I do get how that could be damaging and wouldn't work if you're using it in that way. But it's all about perspective and how you define what affirmations actually are and how you're using them and how you feel when you're using them. But putting a blanket statement that affirmations just don't work is honestly just absurd to me, to just deny the countless successes that people have had using the power of our words. If you're saying words or phrases that make you feel powerful, I say keep going. Words are powerful and they can help us shift states. Can you imagine for a second if we didn't have language? How would we articulate anything? I think of affirmations, honestly, as a way to communicate with our God self what our desires are. And it's not necessarily, it doesn't need to be looked at in a negative light, right? It's just a phrase or a declaration. You could even just say something once. It doesn't need to mean that you're, frantically saying a phrase over and over and over in order to fix something or change something outside of yourself. It can be a way to bring yourself into the state of the wish fulfilled. I just think without words and language and thoughts, it would be like, how are we going to create? Let me quote Neville Goddard, okay? Everything in your world is produced by imagination. There isn't a thing that was not first imagined. So of course you could hold an image or see a scene, play a scene in your imagination, but not everybody prefers to use visualization as their method of focus, right? So not saying that you need to repeat an affirmation, frantically, or like if you're in a lax state and just like saying a vain affirmation, which I do get. Neville Goddard does talk about vain affirmations can often be evidence of the lack of the thing. So if you're frantically like noticing something isn't there and you're, using the affirmation to cover that up, that feels icky, and I can see why that wouldn't work. Because if you're coming from a lax state and you're like a desperate, needy, lax state, and you're just saying a phrase that you're just like, just frantically saying a phrase to, suppress that lack feeling, I don't believe that is productive, and I don't believe that works. But it just depends on the way that you look at affirmations and what you define them as. So a couple personal examples that I have here. Whenever I would gossip or talk about something unlovely, my body physically gets goosebumps. My body is rejecting those words. So my body has a physical reaction to words, language, phrases, affirmations, thoughts that don't serve me. My body's telling me, don't go that way. That's not the way we want to go. Personally, I've used affirmations to reduce my anxiety by at least 90%. It was so bad before I discovered conscious creation, and, just declaring, I'm calm. It's part of the journey is discovering who you really are, right? And that is helpful as well when you understand that you are God and nothing is outside of you. That, can automatically kind of reduce anxiety because, nothing's happening to you. You're creating all of it. So it kind of, if you can conceptualize that and really understand that deeply, it takes, you react less, and there's nothing to fear because you are God. So when you kind of realize that, and you practice getting into the state more and more, but I use affirmations as part of that journey to tell myself that I am calm, I am at peace. I used affirmations to help me get into the state and to help me realize who I am. So I've used affirmations to almost completely cure my anxiety. And like I mentioned earlier, I would even consider an affirmation when you speak something into existence, even if you just say it once. So before I knew about conscious creation, I have 2 cats, okay, Bambi and Feline. So prior to having Bambi, I just had Feline and love her to death, love her to bits. But, it was one night I was laying in bed. I think I might have told this story already, but I was laying in bed and I was like calling to Feline, like, Feline, come here, come cuddle me. And she just like, no, I'm just gonna chill here on the couch. So I had a desire and I had a thought. I was like, it would be really nice to have a really cuddly, needy kitten. I really would just love a cuddly, needy kitten, just like right here, right now. And just like, just had that thought, spoke it into existence. And, not even a month later, I got Bambi. And he is the most needy, most, mama's boy, needs to be on me at all times, like follows me around, obsessed with me, little kitten. So, I would consider that an affirmation. I spoke something into existence. I had a desire. I said, wouldn't that be nice? And he came into my reality. I do believe that our dominant state is paramount, but I also believe that thoughts go hand in hand with that state. You're going to have thoughts that are flowing in that state. Isn't it nice? Isn't it wonderful that I feel this way? Isn't it lovely that I have that thing? I love being this version of me. I love having this thing, just not necessarily, it doesn't need to necessarily mean that you're saying the same thing over and over, which, you can do that and you can repeat one phrase over and over. And I'm not saying that's wrong or bad. If you're in the state, go for it. But I do believe the state is important. But again, you're always going to be thinking thoughts, unless you're one big walking meditation, which I don't think you are. I think you're a human being with thoughts, Thoughts are going to be flowing, and no matter what state you're in, there's thoughts that are going to be flowing. So I do believe that, if you think of it that way, your affirmations are just your thoughts. So if you think of it that way, it's not damaging and it's not something that doesn't work. Like, you're always thinking thoughts and your thoughts are creating your reality. So yes, I think the state is important, but your affirmations you can't really turn that off. I've also had the experience where I have repeated an affirmation, like I've gone really hard with an affirmation that I didn't believe at all or feel real at all, and I saw it come to life in my 3D. So, I do believe that your words create, and, getting into the state of the wish fulfilled, I think is super powerful for sure. But you can also repeat an affirmation and persist in that affirmation and still get results. It's just whatever you believe. The Hebrew word abracadabra, which means it will be created in my words. Or Florence Scovel Shinn has a book called Your Word is Your Wand, and she teaches affirmations. Countless success stories in her books. They're all free on YouTube. You can listen to them. I'll link one down below. There's the water experiment that was done by a Japanese scientist about, speaking different affirmations to different cups of water, and it changed the molecular structure of the water. Words are powerful, even if you look at it from a scientific point of view. Like, your words are changing the molecular structure of water. So 3D is an illusion, and it can be bent to our will by, yes, our state of being, and also our thoughts and our words. And you can use your affirmations as a reminder that you already have what you desire right now. It doesn't necessarily need to be a negative connotation where, it's like Neville says, it's evidence of the lack of it. It doesn't need to be if you are feeling like it empowers you and it reminds you that it's here right now, because imagination is the only reality. So if you're reminding yourself like, oh, it feels good to have that, like I have that right now, Another technique that I recently learned from Candace from Awaken the God Self, I joined her Isn't It Wonderful Club, which is really amazing, and it's really a blessing to be in that group. One of the techniques that I learned from that group, whenever the 3D shows you something unlovely, you can say, I don't accept that in my reality. Or you can just say, that doesn't apply to me. To me, those are affirmations. You're stating, you're declaring, I don't accept this in my reality. Whatever the circumstance is, reject it. It's not true. I don't agree with that. It doesn't, I'm not, and it's not a case of, shoving down emotions. It's just, I'm in the state and something is showing up that I don't like. I'm not reacting to it. I'm just saying, I don't accept that in my reality. Doesn't apply to me. Just kind of indifferent. That technique has been really powerful for me, and it's made it easier to dwell in the state. And all of that is why I believe that affirmations not only work, but are impossible not to use, because we are always thinking something, and every desire comes in the form of a thought. So even to declare that it's yours, you'd be affirming that it is yours, whether you say it once or whether you say it 50 times. I still believe it's an affirmation if you say it the one time. So there's my take on whether or not affirmations work. I think they absolutely work, and I think they're super powerful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Good old Bambi. Come on, then. Come on. Do you want to come in? Oh, Bambi. What are you doing? Want to go out now? Hurry up then. Bambi's being indecisive. Come in then. Yeah, you want to come? Okay. Hey. Bambi, stop that. Bambi. Hey, stop that. Although, you're doing a turd. Want to go in here? So, oh, Bambi. He just does not agree with the door being closed. And when you... Okay, go then. Go. Jeez.